morning. Alright, we get a lot of emails. I'm going to show you how to do a full image editing in either a portrait or like this one here with this lovely model we have, Samantha. We're going to do it in an entire image to go from what you see on the left, the before, to the after, only using Lightroom. We're currently in the new version, Lightroom 5.2. So we're going to do all of these edits strictly in Lightroom. We're no longer going to export this out to a third-party software for skin softening, stuff like that. So we get this question a lot on how to do an entire image. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm going to go back. This will be the finished image when we're done, but I'm going to go back and reset the image to what we started with. So a lot of new tools have been added to Lightroom, so we're going to go through here and just step through here really quickly as we can to keep this video short for you on how to do this. Okay, so first thing you want to do when you look at your image is look at it, and we look at the image and see that even Samantha has these little bit of marks and stuff that we're going to remove. We're going to remove this little bit of line under her eye. Samantha's a young lady, but you still have those little bit of wrinkles in under your eye or the bags. We're going to remove those in Lightroom. We're no longer going to export this out to Photoshop. We're going to in color and change the iris of her eyes. She's got a little scar right here on her forehead, in her hairline. We're going to remove that as well. So let's just go ahead and jump into the image. So first thing I did before I even started on the image is do some color corrections first. And in this image, it was very, very basic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the clarity, add about 10% of clarity, and to bring the color in the background, we shot this actually on some graffiti. So to make those colors pop out here, we're going to just add the vibrance to about 40%. And then on the saturation about 10. We'll kind of make those colors pop out of the back just a little bit for us. Sorry, one more thing I forgot up here. Under the whites and blacks, to help make these colors come out, I'm going to bring up the whites to where I just start to see the white in the image, which is right about 40% in this image. I'm going to leave it right there. And then the blacks, I'm going to add a little more black to bring the black out. Okay, this will help with her hair. Okay, so those are the two adjustments that we'll use. Now, I've darkened up her hair just a little bit, but still left a lot of definition in her hair. Okay. So, but we've actually just, like I say, kind of separated her from that wall that she's standing in front of. So let's go ahead and go down now. I'm going to leave, the tone curve alone. I'm going to get down here to the hue, saturation, and luminance. Now I'm going to actually work on the color of her shirt. I want the shirt a little bit darker blue. And then in her skirt down here, I want the purples to kind of stand out a little bit. So I'm going to leave the hue alone, but in the saturation, I'm going to raise this to about 50%, which will darken up her shirt. And then minus 25 on the luminance will kind of help balance the two out. Same thing with the purple. I want about 60% on the purple. Now, if you see her skirt starts to change colors a little bit, gives it more of that more vibrant color. And minus 25 will do for the luminance. And that was really the adjustments as far as that goes in the image. The only other thing I did was go down here to the sharpening, add a little bit, and it automatically gives you about 25%, which is what Lightroom thinks it should be. And then for the noise reduction, we're going to do that a little bit later, but we're still at a little bit of noise reduction. So I'm only going to do this to about 30% on the luminance, and the color 30% as well. So that's about all I did. Now you have to go in and actually do the editing of your image. So first things first, It's, again, however you want to do it, but I like to start with the skin. So now we're going to run through here, grab some of the tools here, and start fixing the couple blemishes that she's got. So over here, our adjustment panel, here we have our adjustment brush, and we have skin softening. So what I want to work on now first is the parts that I just want to have removed. So that's not under that section. It's actually this tool here, which is your spot removal tool. So you click on your spot removal tool, and you start to get this little circle. And then I've got the feather at 50% over here. I've also got the opacity at about 80%. So like this one here, I'm going to just pick a little bit larger brush because I want to cover the scar she has on her hair. And then one click, and it'll sample an area that it thinks looks good for the image. So you can see that we don't have the area that we like. You know, the hair is missing, so we're going to have to go back. We'll just undo this one. So what you want to do now is you actually want to pick your own area. So we'll go back to this brush. We'll click it, let it sample the image, then we're going to drag it around. So I'm going to use this hair down here in her forehead to align the two that we've already got up. So I'm actually going to use an existing hair. Right about there looks okay. So we've actually placed the hair back in her hairline, so it doesn't look like it was something that was removed. So now we go back and we start now removing some small blemishes. First thing is if you look under the bags of her eye, we're going to remove this right here now. So you pick a smaller brush, and this one will use about a 35. I'm just going to click with the same brush I was using and drag under her eye. And you don't have to be really perfect with this new software. Now, Lightroom picks an area way down here that it believes is what we should be using, but this is not where you want to use it. What we want to do is we want to use this more up here along her cheek. This will give you a much more natural look as far as the skin coloring, the toning, the softening under the eye. So we'll pick right about here on her cheek. So you can see now we have lost some of that underlying bag of her eye. Now we'll do the same thing to the other side. So we'll go back, pick the same tool again. I'm going to keep the size at 35 as well. And we're going to go just under this eye right here. It's going to pick another really weird spot. So we're just going to take it, drag it back over here like on top of her cheek again. It's probably one of the best places to use if you can, is to use the cheek, because it's the closest in skin colors you're going to get. And then hit OK, or done. So now we've lost the bags under her eyes. Everybody has this, not a big deal. So what we're going to do now is I would go back, now start removing some of these little small blemishes. And Lightroom does a pretty good job of doing this quick. I'm just going to pick on some areas here. This is a bar that she has actually for, I think goes through her lip. So I'm going to remove that as well. And then there's another one right here. We're going to remove that one. And then one more right here on her chin. She's got one, looks like she had picked it, but we're just going to remove that as well. So we'll go back to the same tool again. Pick a little bit larger brush to cover the area that we're working on. Just watch her jawline. You don't want to make sure you don't lose that. So, I mean, when you're doing quick sample picking, Lightroom does a really good job of picking up those images for you. So I wouldn't, I don't worry about that too awfully much. So I'll zoom out on the image. You look down right here on her belly. She's also got another blemish. So we'll go back to the same tool, click a little bit larger brush, and we'll just remove it. We'll remove this one down here, this one here, this one here, and then we'll go up, and right underneath her breast, you can see she's got another imperfection, so we'll just remove that as well. So we'll just click on this one. Now I need a little bit smaller brush, so you have to go back and forth a lot, changing your brush sizes to make sure you're getting really what you want. I don't like the where it's sampling the image from, so what I'm going to do is just drag this up here to somewhere about the same skin tone as what we've got. And then right here she's got another one, so let's just remove this one real fast. And this one right here real fast. Okay, so this is about what I would have done as far as just cleaning up her image real fast. So now there's a couple little things we have to go do. One of them is I want to change the color of the iris of her eye. So we're going to zoom in a little bit closer to her eye. And then to change the iris color of an eye, she does have very green eyes, but what I want to do is I'm actually going to change them in this case to a blue to kind of match the color of her shirt. So now I'm going to go over here and click on my brush tool. Under Effects, I'm going to change this to Iris Enhance. And I'm going to pick a brush that is just smaller than the iris of her eye and basically just paint it. I'm just going to go right here, paint this just a little bit, make sure we don't go outside the color of the eye. We don't want to get into the white of the eye. So the same thing on both eyes, and I've got my feather and my opacity still set to the same numbers so I don't overspill it. There's two ways of doing this. You can change it with the temperature and the tint slider, but I prefer just to go down real quick, down underneath there under the color, and then just pick on a color. So we're going to change her eye to a blue. It kind of gives it a nice cool color, but it's up to you. I mean, I can make it look more natural by picking a green her eyes are green. So it's easy to do it this way. You can go through, if you want to do something really crazy, you can make it look like a werewolf. I mean, that's up to you. Halloween's right around the corner, guys. We can make them look like whatever. But let's just give her a nice cool color of her eyes. Okay. Now, one more thing I would do is, it works both ways, but the one for teeth whitening works really well if you're going to do, like, say, the white of the eyes to make her eyes nice and bright. So we're going to just brush and take out some of those red the veins in your eye. So let's just go through here, brighten this up just a little bit. We're not going to do it too much. We don't want it to make it look like it's really too overdone. So we're going to just touch this up right here in the white of her eye. Okay. So the last thing, and again, it's your images. Do what you guys like to do. I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit. I'm a little bit too far zoomed in. Normally, she doesn't have much makeup on, so I like to have her lips just a little bit redder. What I want to do is very simply go back to my adjustment brush. Now I'm going to actually use this, and then instead of going through color changes and stuff like that, which a lot of times you would do, I'm just going to pick a contrast. Because she's not smiling, we don't have to worry about again whitening her teeth. And all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of color, but I don't want to make it look too bad by overdoing this. I'm going to use just a little bit of contrast on her lips to bring out the detail of her lips in the image. Okay. And then just click Done. So far, you can see if we go to the before and after, what we started with to where we are now. the coloring is, let's zoom out just a little bit. The coloring is much better. We did not overexpose the eyes. We're not doing anything unnatural to our image. So now I'm going to click out of here and go back to the full view. At this point, really, you can be done with your image. But I'm going to apply some skin softening to it to make it look like we did in the final image we had done before. So, same thing. All you got to do is go back to your adjustment brush, under the effects. We're going to go down where it says skin soften. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to brush on her skin. I'm going to pick a little bit larger brush and work a little bit faster here. So, with the feather and on the tool and the flow, we're not going to bleed into her hair or outside of that. So what we're going to do now is just start picking on the skin, and you don't have to be precise, but you want to do a good job. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pick right here, try to get the color where her skin coloring is. Later on, we'll just go in here with a smaller brush and go between the eyes and the eyebrows to smooth that out underneath there. But let's just do a real quick draft. So up underneath her here's fine. The same size brush is good. Underneath her eye where we did the original softening by removing some of the bags under her eyes. So I'm just going to move the image up now. It's not letting me, so let's just move it this way. Okay. Back to our brush. Now we'll just finish off the underneath her chin and her lips. And then down here on her neck. Okay. And it's up to you, but you can also do it on her body. This will be a little bit easier. I won't need that big of a brush, so we'll step it down a little bit. And just pick the color of her skin without trying to bleed over into her shirt or the background. And your feather will help with this, stop it from overspilling onto the image, okay? Okay. So the last thing you want to do is, like I said, is right underneath her eyebrows. We're going to zoom in a little bit. I need to get a little bit closer so we can get, again, we're working a little bit tighter spot. So back to the same brush again. Now we're just going to go right underneath here and smooth out the skin under her eyes. Right around her nose. Same with the other side. And then right up underneath here. Okay, so basically, there's your before and after images using only Lightroom. Now, normally I would export the image over into, a third-party software, whether it was Color Effects Pro, Portrait Professional is another one that I use a lot. But really, you can do everything now in Lightroom. You can remove the bags. You don't have to go back between Lightroom and Photoshop. The tool is now there. You just have to use it a little bit differently now. But that will help you get started on, doing all of your images. The colors, we no longer have that dingy gray. We have a nice blue color in her shirt. The skirt she had on, it had a lot of purple in it, so we have the color of the purple. We brought out the background, the colors in the background, but we didn't overexpose them. But the biggest thing is like I said, is you no longer really have to go through and use a third-party software to change all of the blemishes, the bags. It's very simple. So it's up to you guys how you want to have your images look, but this one I like just like it was. this is one of the images that Samantha submitted, for publication. So if I was going to do anything left of this image, for Samantha, it would be go down the very last thing under the lens correction under the effects, add just a small amount, about 25% of a dark vignette, which really makes her stand out of the image. So we'll do one more before and after, and there's your final project. It's not that hard. And like I said, we're going to be starting a meetup group down in the southwest Riverside County to help people learn how to use this program, because it's an amazing program. Now they've added a few things to it. So please, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll do some more videos. We have another shoot with Samantha coming up for a car line of clothing. So we'll have a new video coming up here in the next week or so. Thank you guys very much. You have a good weekend. Take a lot of shots. If you have any problem or any questions about how we do the editing in Photoshop or Lightroom now especially, then send us an email and we'll be happy to get back to you. If you'd like for us to take a look at one of your images, send us the raw image and we'll take a look at that for you as well. That way you can step right through it with us and edit your images the way you like them. So thanks again, guys. Take a lot of shots this weekend. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Thanks again.